begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Sunday's here, Monday's coming. Good to see everybody here today. How y'all doing? Let's see who all's in the chat today. By the way, I posted a tip link up there to my Streamlabs. Please do consider sending a tip my way if you can. We got to get this show up and running better. I'm trying out some new online tools that are going to cost a little more money. So if you don't want to tip me, consider Patreon. I have that as well. Speaking of which, let's shout out all the Patreons real quick. Grindhead Jim, Pope, Will McLaughlin, my co-host Jim Largo, Masters Maniac Mexico, Bjorn Jorgensen. These guys are who are keeping the lights on over here, and we thank you so very much. And I appreciate that. Susudio's in the house, Nolan's in the house, No Way Farms is here, Shaitan's Hammer is here, and I see Bjorn Jorgensen is here as well. Bjorn just got paid. Good deal, Bjorn. Radical Toys is here. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you in the chat today. So it's good to see everybody today. So I'll bring Largo on in. If well, he's got his mic muted, and he's got Eduardo's there. There he is. What's going on there, Largo? What's happening, man?
It wouldn't be a Sunday without my annoying rooster buddy next door.
Eduardo's who he is. Toe Arts Games. Good to see you. Gojitron in the house. Good to see you. So we got lots of folks here. Rolando Flores just showed up. Good to see you, Rolando. So pretty good crowd showing up here today. Just getting started. We had a excellent couple of days of live streams. I must say, Largo. Friday open mic, pretty damn decent, and yesterday wasn't too bad at all with Joneser in the house and Wilhelm. We had a
real good time.
Yeah, and we talked about a lot of different stuff, and please do try to catch some of those restreams if you can. Last I looked, I'm up to about 596 subscribers, 600.
Wow.
So I'm working my way towards 1,000, and that's going to be great. Hopefully, I can get monetized at that point. Let me throw an overlay up here so you guys can see the branding of the channel. I will say this. I'll go ahead and tell everybody that you and I have been up to a lot of shenanigans over on a place called Canva.
Shenanigans indeed. Having fun.
In order to be able to do anything over there, I found that I had to go ahead and do the trial membership. So that means that I've got to remember to untrial that at the end of the month. But I kind of been working on a few things. Got a team going over there. Put you on it, and
okay.
We got a
it's a very nice tool. It's very much designed for folks like us that have an interest but don't have all the expertise. and it's got all kinds of bells and whistles, and it's allowing us to play around and do some stuff for YouTube and Instagram and whatnot. So,
Well, I'll tell you what I did notice there, Largo, when I was looking around on there. There's a lot of stuff that's already done for you, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, for one thing.
mhm.
Much of that stuff that's on there, I can already do, but it takes me so long to do it that it would be easier just to go over there and grab some templates where it's already done for me and just plug shit in. And that's
Yep.
mainly what I think what we're doing over there.
Yep, no reason to reinvent the wheel. And I have ideas for videos I want to do, but I'd much rather work on writing the scripts and coming up with the ideas than all of the mechanics of putting everything together. And Canva shortens that process a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. So studios here, No Way Farms, Nolan. Yeah, everybody's kind of just hanging out in the chat and just chatting with one another and having a good time. Uh, I don't know if you know this or not, but I have been working on my latest custom figure. I worked on it yesterday when I had some free time to myself before the show started yesterday, and I've got Hercules finished. And
Cool.
as a result of that, there's a video that's going to drop this week. So some thumbnails already up. There's a placeholder there. Get your notification bells ring so you can see that video when it comes out. I'm just going to drop it. There's not going to be a premiere. There's no need for live chat, and I probably won't be able to make it to it, but we'll. I'm Manic Plastic Toy Shop. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So I think I'll show everybody what I've done so far because it's just I've worked pretty hard on this guy. See if we can adjust the light a little bit. Maybe you can see those boots better. But those boots came from Space Sumo. They were red. And I gave them a nice leathery brown color. See if we can get in there and see those boots a little better.
Now, are those boots? Those boots are made for walking.
And they'll walk right all over you, I guess, especially if you're Hercules' enemy. Uh, that's a He-Man buck. I've got a He-Man buck coming, but I wanted to go ahead and finish this figure now. So I went ahead and got one of my other He-Man figures and to stole his buck. When the new buck comes out, I'll remake that figure. But I had to paint his arm bracers there, and I tried
Mhm.
to replicate slightly what they did back in the day, which was the kind of a gold or yellow design on the bracers. So
Kind of gives it a kind of a burnished gold look with the wash on there. That's
yeah, I've
nice.
got I painted them brown like his belt and boots, and then I put
Hmm.
it's gold, but I actually used brass because brass looks more gold than gold, especially on film.
Right.
And of course, as you can see, he's got his big old stick there that
Hmm.
the original figure had. I found on Evil Base somebody selling one of those. I won't say how much I spent for it because it was ridiculous.
Well, you got sticks out in the yard, Bill. Those are free.
Yeah, but that's not the stick though. That's not the stick that came with the figure.
That's true.
And I got some gold cord that they sell at Walmart over in the sewing section by a company called Simplicity, which makes patterns as well. And I got that tied around him, so he looks pretty much like he did back in the day. And that head is by Lee Customs. He is a good friend of ours here on the channel. He does all kinds of custom stuff, and I just can't tout him enough. Everybody loves Lee Customs and the things
Well,
that
it
he
sure looks
does.
good, Bill. I'm familiar with the Warlord from that Remco line, but I don't remember seeing the Hercules. Do you have any pictures of the original that we could look at?
Uh, well, very very much so on the title card as you can see here.
Oh, okay.
There's a picture of the figure that they showed on the old
The
comic
card.
ads.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not exactly what the Hercules of DC Comics looked like back in the day. Let me see if I can bring up something here. Let me.
Excuse me.
I'll run up over
That
here and go into studio mode, and I'm going to see if I can find a nice picture of some Hercules comics to put in
okay.
here. You can see
So
the
now this figure is based on a comic book Hercules, not the one from the movies or whatnot.
That's correct, and that
Okay.
would be DC Comics' version of Hercules. And of course, if you tune into my show, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about all that. And let me see if I can get this to come up. It's not letting me add that source. All
Well,
right.
while you're tinkering with that, I'll pull up my toy cam and show what I've been tinkering with
Okay,
lately.
cool.
Let me find my button here. I've been working on a few customs. Let's see if I get the transition to work. There we go. So I just did a review of the two robots. Those are from the new RoboForce by Nacelle, and found a little doggo to go with my Action Force. I like this
Okay,
guy. And
he looks
this
pretty
here
cool.
is a kit bash of the Intrepid Hunter from the Jurassic Park movie with an Action Force body, and he's going to be part of my spare parts mercenary group. I haven't figured out a code name for him yet, but maybe somebody in the chat will give us a suggestion.
All right, let's see. I have to resize that picture down a little bit.
So you thinking about doing kind of a whole display of those Remco style in the Motu modern origins type bodies?
Yeah,
Or?
pretty much. And maybe I've got a case full of them now. It's not just Remco that I've got. I've got two Remco figures now. That would be Travis Morgan and Hercules. Travis Morgan being
Mm-hmm.
the said warlord, and I've got some Galaxy Warriors figures as well. And if you go over to Lee Customs, he's been doing Warrior Beasts, which was also by Remco, doing some heads for those. These bucks are just wonderful for doing stuff like that. It makes it real easy.
Sure.
Um,
Now the
all right,
warrior beasts were basically a Motu type body with a animal head of some sort.
that's correct. Matter
Okay.
of fact, Lee had a head. I wish I'd jumped on it when I had a chance, but it sold out. It was Tiger Man's head, and that tiger head looked so
Cool.
beautiful.
I
But
remember seeing Gojitron did a video about some monster or dragon type critters. I'm not sure who the manufacturer was. I'll have to go back and look at that video from Goji
yeah,
and see what
yeah,
what that was.
Goji's got some cool stuff up there. Here we have the covers of all 12 issues of the Hercules Unbound comic, which was quite an interesting story in and of itself because it was Hercules, but it was set in a post-apocalyptic future, like 5 days after the end of World War III.
Hmm. So was
And
this similar to like Commandy with Jack Kirby's
as a matter of
stuff?
fact, the talking animal men from the Commandy series show up in this, as do the Atomic Knights.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And
Oh, I knew
the
Goji
Unbound.
was lurking around here somewhere.
Hey, Goji.
There it is.
And
Zolo World Warrior Beasts. I've checked
yeah.
those out again.
And the Unbound about Hercules was the fact that he had been bound for thousands of years after a fight with Ares, the god of war, and who bound him up. And when he broke his chains, it was 5 days after the World War III, and he ends up saving a blind boy and his dog from a sea serpent, which unleashes these anti-gods, including Ares, who he fights throughout the series. And it didn't last but 12 issues. Apparently it got canceled, but featuring wonderful art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, one of my favorite artists. So
Can we take a breath there, Bill? Because our friend Susudio says she has a question, and I kind of like to know what that is.
yeah, all right.
Let's go ahead and ask. Let's see. Here
Yeah.
we go. She asks, "Can you print a toy from a photo or from a photo of a cartoon? Can you print a toy from a photo of a cartoon. Now, are you talking about like 3D printing or something of that nature? Because we do have a friend who's a 3D printer.
Well, the thing about it is, yes, you can, but what you have to have the software to do it. So you take the scanned picture
Mm-hmm.
and you put it in this software, which kind of 3Dises it, and some of that works better than others depending upon the quality of the photo. And then once that's digitized and made into a form that you can make a STL file out of, then you can put that in the 3D printer. I don't know. I'm simplifying things quite a great bit there, Largo, I'm sure, but
Sure.
that's kind of the gist of what's going on when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, and sometimes it's more successful than others, but it's hit or miss. We've seen a lot of different files that have been created by enthusiasts. Excuse me. I need to get more coffee going. There are a lot of folks who do, renderings, and some of them are like little statues, and some of them have some slight articulation that would be kind of like a doll. And
Well,
they do everything
the
from
thing is,
Blake
now,
7
as
to
far as
who knows what.
as far as the doll goes, that what you have is you're going to have like at least what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 parts.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have the head, you would have the torso, and then you would have the arms and legs, all separate 3D printed, and possibly even make the torso 2 pieces so that they snap together. So you have like a neck peg that goes in a hole at the top of the torso. Then you have pegs on the arms and legs that goes in holes, and so you'd have the bottom piece, and you'd slot all those pieces in, and then snap the top piece on, and there you have your doll. And all those
I
pieces
think
could.
Boba Hicks is yanking our chain here, buddy. He says 4D printers are the way of the future. Is that it's going to print time and space too?
Yeah. Time being the 4th dimension. Yeah, that I don't know, man. That sounds kind of suspicious to me. Wilhelm Toyin Hobby, he's our 3D expert. He says you would have to create a 3D model based on the cartoon, not an automatic process. Most are created like this, possibly someday in the future. So yeah, it would have to be. You would have to scan that picture in and digitize it and 3Dize it. Like I said, there are programs to help you do stuff like that, but you have to be an artist of some sort in order to do that, in order to manipulate the file and the program as well.
Yeah, you got to be part artist, part computer engineer, and part mad genius or mad scientist, one of the two.
Yeah, and then that would be a wonderful thing to do there at the studio, but I don't think any of us are at the level to be able to do that. The guys that do stuff like that are just they're either enthusiasts who are really, really deep into it, or they're making money at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the printers are not cheap. I mean, you can get an entry level one probably around $200, but the really fancy ones that can do that kind of work are probably closer to $1,000.
Yeah,
That's not in my budget today.
Yeah, Will tells us scanning 3D models of existing toys is here, but has a long way to go to be a regular thing. I'll tell you what, Will, I'm going to I'll send you an Instagram DM, and since you're our relative expert, I would love to have you come in and tell us more that you know about such things.
Yeah, Will's been printing for at least a year, maybe a little longer. He's been working on a few different odds and ends. He did a nice repair of a MASH helicopter from a MASH collection that he has.
Speaking of MASH, he just dropped a video not too long ago about the MASH toys that came out back in, I guess, the 70s or 80s. That is an excellent video.
I think it was the 80s.
Yeah, that's an excellent video, and if you haven't had a chance to watch it, I suggest that you go and watch it this afternoon or when you get a chance. Will, if you check your DMs on Instagram, I sent you an invite to come in. And Nightbot telling you how to tip me, and he's telling you how to join my Patreon, and he's telling you about my blog. Largo, you were over there on my blog here over the last few days. Can you tell me a little bit about what you saw over there?
I saw things I can't unsee, Bill. I saw sea monkeys. Lots of sea monkeys.
Back in
No,
the
there's a
day,
lot
they
of classic
all the
stuff.
time.
There's some very interesting stuff about sea monkeys that I didn't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff about some of the classic monster model kits that are really cool. I'd love to see if I could find some of those to use to make some dioramas for my toy photography if they're still
Mhm.
in print. I know with models, sometimes they make a bunch of them and then they don't make them anymore. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff there to check out. I haven't gone through everything, but I'm going to delve back
Now,
into it.
Goju trying to bring up a point. He wants Will to print up some Thundar figures, which would be nice because I
Ooh.
love Thundar the Barbarian. Uh, didn't the company do the Thundar figures? They did Ukla the Mock, they did Thundar,
Mm-hmm.
they did Ariel, and I don't think they did anything else.
Yep.
That's all they did.
Un momento, por favor. I will grab my Thundar so you can take a look.
Oh, please do. Thank you. And hey, Will, how's it going, man?
Oh, hey, how you doing? I still go to Tron. Yeah, go to Tron. I'll do that. Hey, Bill. Speaking of 3D printing,
Yes.
something finished last night.
Ooh, tell me more. Show
Oh,
me,
you know
show
what?
me.
I
I
left my
want to
TV
see.
on, so that might be picking up some sound. I hear the show a couple seconds later. Let me shut that off real quick.
All right, cool. While they're all doing their thing, I will tout my social medias. I do have a Facebook page for Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. I have an Instagram. I have a Twitter that does nothing more than promote the show. Don't try to contact me on Twitter. And
Sorry about that.
I answer my Instagram post DMs pretty regularly, and so do I. I do so also on Facebook Messenger. Welcome back, Will.
Hey, Shaitan's Hammer there, the 5.5 Thundar. I think there is someone who's doing a free file like that on Thingiverse. We could probably pull that up and print it up if you like. And there's Boba Hicks. What am I printing? Well, let me show you. Ask Grindhead Jim. So, Bill, this is it. This is the lava fall.
Oh, cool! And you got it kind of held together with some
Um,
bulldog clips there to
yeah,
show how it was.
that's just something a scalpel
Let me
clipped on the
come
back.
on. Let me get you up full screen and let me full screen my StreamYard stream here, and I want to see the bottom and all that kind of good stuff and how
Yeah,
it
so
to the
the
top.
back it's a little rough, but anyway, once you pin this together and glue it, and one thing that's great about 3D prints is they're kind of porous, because they get the layer lines. They take
Yeah.
crazy glue perfectly. I mean, they fuse really well together.
Okay.
So for glue, but you'll need a coat of paint on that, but
Mm-hmm.
you can see the detail. It's all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got kind of a little hook at the top to hook across the top part
Yeah,
of
so
the.
that's where you would hook it onto the, and if you see that's.
That's kind of the bottom. It looks like there's some like fang looking rocks
Oh
sticking
yeah,
out.
there's like little fang rocks, and I figured those match the aesthetics of the of Snake Mountain itself,
Not
right?
so much so, but yeah, and
Yeah, because they put a couple poking through the
yeah,
lava or
kind of like it
blood
was
right
the
there.
rock wall behind the flow. The blood falls. Yeah,
Yeah, so
and
you
So
did a
that's going
nice
to
paint job
cover
on that.
the hinges.
no,
Yeah,
That's for the
that's where the hinge section is. If you look at my toy cam, which I'm going to pull up in just a second here, let me get out of this and
yeah. Go ahead,
I'll
and let me
pull
put that
myself
back
up
there.
real quick and we'll put the toy cam up there. And let me kind of zoom it out a little bit and kind of, if you'll look behind Beast Man there, I've got a piece of ribbon, kind
Yeah, I
of
see that.
as
Yeah, which
makeshift
looks kind of
falls.
cool. Hmm.
So that's kind of how that works.
cool.
And what we got here, Largo? Let's take a look. Okay, that's the Thundar
Mm-hmm.
figures. We got Ukla the Mock, Ariel, and Thundar. And what
Yep.
was the name of this
Now,
company that did those?
this company was called Toonami. Let me see if I can find it here. Toonami is focus. It didn't want to focus. So Toonami is the name of the company. And unfortunately, I missed the boat on getting all of them. They even had some Herculoids,
Yeah,
but I wasn't able to get all three, and they have become insanely expensive on the secondary market.
I can only
But
imagine.
I was able to get Thundar himself. along with the exclusive glow in the dark sun sword. So that actually
that's
fits
really
on his
nice.
wrist just like it did in the cartoon. He's got his dinosaur tooth necklace and got his grumpy scowl.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good figure. I mean, it's not as super articulated as some of the modern stuff, but I'm happy with it just because it's
What you
Thundar.
got? What you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 points of articulation.
Yeah, he has elbows and knees along with all the regular ones. He's got kind of an odd hip kind of articulation. I'm not sure how articulated because I'm afraid to take him out of the box because he's so rare.
Is it made
I'd
by
love to.
NECA? Will they fall apart if you take him out of the box?
I sure hope not. No, I think Toonami used a better quality of plastic than what NECA does. It's just that because he is so rare, it's one of the few that I keep in the box. Most of my stuff is I'm an out of the box collector on, but stuff like this.
I've seen some customs of Thundar before, but
Mhm.
as far as the mock and Ariel goes, there's not a lot of customs of those out there, if any at all. But those figures look
Right.
beautiful. They would make great displays. Let's see. We shake
I
hands.
kind of hope. Yes, I'm hoping somebody someday will give us a whole new series with some updated articulation. That'd be
It
nice.
would be nice. Shaitan Hammer said I was obsessed with the sun sword as a kid, but the not lightsaber. Yeah, it wasn't a lightsaber; it was the sun sword. But see, let's go back in time to a small 7-year-old or 8-year-old child watching Thundar the Barbarian on television, and little kids are not that smart. So whenever I heard the introduction and it talked about his fabulous son's sword is what I heard, and I thought, oh, the sword belonged to his son. When will we get to see his son?
Well, that's okay. I remember as a kid, I used to think that the lightsaber was named after the candy lifesavers. I was like,
No,
well, that's kind of a weird name.
we thought
I had a
lightsaber
friend that would
called
call it a
lightsabers.
lightsaber.
We thought that too. We didn't know what a saber was. That
Sure,
No.
sure,
trapped y'all in the
sure.
house. Yeah, we're
And
talking some Thundar right quick, man.
hey, real quick, getting back to Susudio, she asked about the Captain Fantastic, which I didn't know what it was, so I just googled it real quick. It's an Elton John album cover,
Mm-hmm.
and he's wearing the Captain Fantastic outfit there.
Now,
Unfortunately, I did search just to see because if it's pop culture, someone's most likely made a
Mhm.
3D model of it. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
that does not show up on any of the popular sites. Now, I'm not
Right. I was
saying
going to
it's something
say,
that's out of
I
control
think,
or out of
uh,
the realm
right.
of
I'm not
possibility.
100% for certain, but I do believe NECA did make an Elton John figure. I'm not sure which costume he's wearing, but it's from one of his
Mhm.
concerts. And
Okay,
so if you
so
just look up,
I'll keep an eye
yeah.
on that, and I'll tell you if there is a
Mhm.
model out there, studio, I'd be happy to print one up for you and send you an action figure of your favorite album cover there. But I don't see one now, nor do I have the talents or skills to create one based on the image.
That would
When
be a
you get
daunting
that,
task.
when you get that would be probably a problem. You don't know how long it'll take him to do it.
Well, that's when you need one of those 4D printers that Boba Hicks was talking
Yes,
about.
yes, yes. The
Yeah, you
can
Boba
turn
Hicks
back
4D
time.
printer, it prints while you're at work, and it does
Nice.
your taxes for you, and it does all these things.
No,
Yeah.
it 3D prints the print before you start printing it, so that
Yes.
you have it
As
before
soon as
you
someone
Oh, yeah.
asks for it,
print it.
oh, allow me. There you go.
Yeah. I like our friend here. I also had a crush on Ariel, and that
No.
because we were fresh off of Star Wars, and here was this show that had kind of she was a
A lot of
princess. She did
people may
Actually-
not
magic. It was like
realize
cool.
this, but a lot of the character designs on that were done by the great king of comics himself, Jack Kirby.
Are you talking
Mhm.
about Disney's The Little Mermaid?
No,
Look him off
Okay.
the
talking
show,
about
Darnell.
Thundar,
Oh, I thought
the
that-
barbarian.
Okay. Sorry. I like
Hook him off the show.
It's a Florida thing. If it's not alligators, it's mermaids.
No, I was doing multiple things at once and listening, so I wasn't in the know. I'm trying to catch up here. But
Fair enough.
Speaking of Shaitan's Hammer, I don't know if you caught Morning Vintage with Super John today over on the Super Awesome Geek Show. What you're talking about, probably in action with Thundar, is very much a proto He-Man. Now, not necessarily the progression of that, but John brought up something that I had never thought of before. Now, John actually is friends with a lot of people in the industry, animators and such, and he knew an animator that worked on not only Thundar the Barbarian, but also worked on Black Star later, and then worked on He-Man when Filmation picked that up. And he talked about some of the things that they did. Thundar, basically it failed because it didn't last more than a season or so, and never progressed. Of course, there were no toys back then. It was against the rules to make toys for your cartoon shows. But they were talking about the mounts and the horses, and so when they made the Black Star, they brought ideas from Thundar into Black Star, and one of the things they decided to do was to make his mount have a personality. So that's why the dragon kind of has a personality in that, because they kind of wanted to get the kids involved in that. And that then progressed over to He-Man, where they said, okay, well, let's go one step further and give Battle Cat a voice and let him be a character in and of himself, and everything. Now let's bring this up that you have here, Will, and let's see what we're discuss here. What we have a Thundar the Barbarian 3D print figure.
yeah, this is Thundar the
Motu
Barbarian.
style. Motu style. So that
style.
would be classic Motu style. So that would be the.
What do you think of that? That's $2.50
cool.
for the model.
And how much is this guy charging for the STL file?
$2.50. $2.50.
That's not bad.
And then that's obviously a colored render. And then here's the pieces.
Yeah, and
this might actually help if we pull this up.
The legs are not going to be on the damn rubber band, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. So this looks like an original design too, though. So this wasn't like scanned from an existing toy. Even the sculpt and everything, it looks like it's inspired by, but not a copy of.
Right.
Anything that exists. So yeah, pretty cool. I don't know if that's something you'd be into, but for $2.50, it's worth taking a crack at. But I don't
Radical
know if that
Mom's
really.
in the house. Good to see you, Radical Mom.
Now, I wonder, Bill, if you could take just like the sword and the head and print just those items and try to make them fit on a Motu Origins body so it has the modern articulation.
Yeah, I think we talked about that with, I was talking with Grindhead Jim, but he was saying, better than printing out the body and trying to worry about articulation with the.
That's kind of
you could just do a head and pop them right on an existing.
That's kind of the way I would go. Now, if you go over to Toy Polloy, he has a design for Prince Adam's jacket. And it's a pattern. Basically, you cut that out of some velvet or something like that, and you can make the jacket. And you can put that, I guess, brown felt is what I would use, and that would be Thundar's top. Use a standard He-Man buck, repainted as necessary, and of course the head. If you 3D printed that head and then send that to Lee Customs, what he could do for you is he could make a resin, or you could do that, Will, because you know how to do resin pours too. I think you can make a resin pour of that head, and then drill out that the neck hole with the Dremel tool so that it would pop right on that ball.
Yeah, people even on like Thingiverse have free like adapters you could print up to adapt like. For example, G.I. Joe, they do like the old style neck posts to the new ball jointed ones, and even the modern versus the after 2000 versions. So they have all kinds of adapters you can print up, which will give you some limited articulation by just attaching it to it.
That would be probably easier than printing the whole damn figure up like they have there. Just print the head, make it into a resin
especially
head.
with I think Jim was saying there's like certain figures when they go on clearance, they have pretty generic
All right, you
bodies.
take it easy there, No Way Farms. Take care of the little
Oh.
man there. And Susudio's telling you thank you for looking that up. She doesn't have any
Oh yeah,
idea
no
what it
problem. Absolutely, my pleasure. And you asked because you thought we were the people to ask. So I'm glad you did, and I'm glad I was able to
Sure.
answer some of it. I don't know
is.
everything.
You
But
guys are all wearing caps, so I've got to find mine. I don't know where I put it.
I thought Paula absconded with your resurrection cap. Didn't she?
No, no,
Did
no,
she
no.
claim that one, or did she claim the T-shirt?
It was the T-shirt and the bear that she claimed.
Ah,
When the
that's
bear
it.
came up, the bear got snatched away from me, and the T-shirts were the T-shirts I think were extra large, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which should fit me. It would be a little tight, but it should fit me. I think I tried one of them on, and it did, but it was kind of tight. But it fits her perfectly. But of course, all this stuff's made in China, so it's made for Chinese people. So an extra large over there is like a regular large here, or maybe a medium. So I mean, you have. I know buying leather vests from China, because they're all made in China, folks. Just live with it. When you order a leather vest for motorcycle riding, you have to get like a 5X, because that equals a 3X here in America. So. And
So
why
they
do you
have
buy,
Chinese.
why do you buy your vest bigger than your actual size? Because you're going to wear it in the wintertime, and you have to wear that over your motorcycle jacket.
Right.
Which is
That
why
makes
some
sense.
of them have laces in the side, so you can let it out a little bit, so it'll fit around you when you got all your winter gear on.
I'm just trying to imagine the Chinese cowboys hunting down these Chinese cows to skin them and make some leather. I'm just that's a weird picture in my head.
They've got stuff like that over there, yaks and stuff like that. Maybe they're getting the leather from that. I don't know.
I
All
don't
right.
know
Boba
either.
Hicks, can you 3D print null rays for my Transformer Core Class Sky Warp?
Hey, pull up the screen I'm sharing. Is that what he's talking about?
I think he's
Can you
talking about
see
like
it?
a special effect for the ray gun that he has,
Oh, okay. Is this?
but I'm not for sure.
If that's what he's talking about, then someone's selling the model here for $299.
Yes, he
Oh,
says. Yes, that is
oh,
what he's talking
Okay.
about.
oh, yeah. I'd be happy to. But yeah, absolutely. Get with me, and that'll be the last time I interrupt the stream, because I know you guys were on something. You answered Susudio's question that led into this, which led to here, which led to me popping on
Stay
here.
your ass
But
right
you
there,
were
because
you were talking about something, Bill. So let's reel it in
Well,
and get back to
if
where
if we
started.
had a live stream where our train of thought didn't get derailed, it wouldn't be right.
No.
The map
Only thing
of
I can remember y'all talking about was Hercules, and I think I pretty much covered everything about that.
oh,
I
okay.
was showing off the Largo was wanting to know about the comic series, and I had shown some of the covers from that, which the figure's face sculpt kind of matches the comics a little bit, but what he's wearing there does not. That was more or less just using what they had with the figures. The molds that Remco had. I actually used a pig head waist on my custom figure, and the original figure's belt wasn't even painted. So what you got there, Will?
So
For us, you got some pictures
okay,
of the
so
comic.
Bill, if you want to go off the rails, I've got something. I was just doing some research because we were talking briefly about these Hostess
Ooh.
Twinkie ads from
Yeah,
the old
yeah,
comics. And if you
yeah.
don't mind, I just put this together, and I was going to spring it on you whenever there was an opportunity. So
Sure.
I saw one, and I did it. So remember, I was talking about that one that I was looking for, which is the one where the Flash leaves a note for Batman saying, "I'll be back in a fraction of a second." Had to run out and get some Hostess Twinkies, which I thought was absurd in its whole premise and everything. So it always cracked me up just because of that insanity. So I was looking for it. I cannot find that ad. So anyone out there, if you could find a copy of that ad, I would love a version of it because I'd love to see it again. But what I did find was just some plain old wackiness here. Here are some of the Hostess ads that I picked out. You told me a website yesterday. I forgot the name, but
Sean,
I went and checked
baby.
it out. That's right, Sean Baby. Some of these come from there, some of them come from somewhere else. But yeah, I shamelessly stole the images just so we could take a trip down memory lane, check out some of these ads, and tell me what you think. So here's the first one. It's called The Spy. It looks like someone discovered Superman outfits in Clark Kent's closet.
Uh-oh.
So he's going to sell it and make $1 million. So he brings everyone there, and Superman, quick thinking, fills the closet with Hostess fruit pies, which are delicious. And then look, this guy gets fired at the bottom. He says, "Okay, smart guy, you're fired."
Of course.
And yeah, so he gets fired for doing that.
And
And then
everybody's
this
laughing
one,
about it. He's
So
fired. Ah, ha, 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 you
Hostess
got
fruit pies
yeah,
fired.
save the day.
yeah, they're talking about the real fruit filling and flaky crust. You're fired. So then on the other one, we've got Batman and the Mummy. So there's this ancient mummy, and he's getting away with the professor and his daughter.
Classic
Rob,
Batman villain, the Mummy.
oh yeah, Robin pulls out what looks like a rifle, but he says, "My special mummy ray gun won't stop him." Um, and then it looks like they can't think of what to do, so they throw a box of Twinkies, which of course distracts the mummy because he says, I've been around for 2,000 years and I've never tasted anything so good." And they save the day. So I put together.
Interesting point here, Will. Let me interrupt you there.
Yeah,
If we'll
sure.
look on one of the panels there, we can actually see Robin's eyeballs in his mask, which is not something that we normally would see. You see that?
That was
Yep.
something that stood out to me was that the artwork actually isn't bad. Like, so they got the actual artist, I guess,
Oh, sure they did.
from the
And
comics
they
to write
yeah,
these.
and they let them just let their imagination run wild.
Okay,
The canine caper. Oh God,
so
it's a
this
furry.
one,
Okay,
yes,
so this
so
is a
this
furry.
predates
Batman
furries by
is the
a
furry.
long time. This one is called, and the quality of the picture wasn't that great, but it's Batman and the Canine Caper. This guy dresses as a dog, and he's using an ultrasonic dog whistle to make every dog in the place follow him. Right, so he could rob their stuff and get away with it. I guess, blend in with the pack. And Batman swoops in, and he says, "These Hostess Twinkies cakes," which they called them Twinkies cakes. That was
Yes,
weird
yes,
too.
absolutely. Twinkies,
Yeah,
cakes, and Hostess fruit pies.
he says, "You don't look like the type of dog who wants a bone. Try these." And the guy stops, takes off his costume because he can't resist the delicious taste of Twinkies.
No, no, no,
Hilarious.
it's always the same spiel too. I can't resist the light golden sponge cake and
Yeah.
the luscious creamed filling.
But I just thought this was funny with the advent of furries in modern society. Back then, it was just looked at as a goofy, uh, thing too. So, anyone in the chat remember these ads? Because this one killed me. These two it just cracked me up. I was laughing. First one is the League of Assassins. They come for Batman, and you see karate action happening all over, right?
Everybody with
Uh,
kung fu fighting.
Yes. So then he says, "Too close for comfort. Their hands are deadly weapons, but I know a way to change that." Hostess Twinkies. So they're trained assassins, the League of Assassins. They train their whole life. They have one mission to kill
Ra's al Ghul fires all three of these cats too, right after
Batman.
this is over with. I love that cream filling. Give
Yeah.
me golden sponge cake.
And usually, while they're enjoying the cakes, Batman or Superman or whoever's like tying them up. Because if you see at the end, they're tied up waiting for the police. So while they were eating the cakes, Batman was able to just tie a rope around all three of them. And then this one is the most absurd supervillain I've ever heard of. Have you ever heard of Pigeon Woman?
No.
With her trained flock of pigeons here, she's stealing the Statue of Liberty. Look at it.
Oh wow.
Isn't that something?
And then she goes to steal Mount Rushmore. I love
Yes.
that.
And I don't know where the Hostess cupcakes come in here. Did she just? Yeah, of course. Oh no, not delicious Hostess cupcakes, devil food cake, with their wonderful cream filling. My birds will do anything for that treat. So he
Yeah.
basically there's the birds with the cupcakes. He gives the birds a
Marge's
bunch of
favorite
cupcakes.
food there.
Yeah, So
Yep.
Pigeon Woman thwarted by cupcakes. Great. So these are
All
just
right, all right, all
fantastic.
right. All right. Keep it going there, Will. I'm going to
Oh,
run
sure.
over to my blog and I'm going to grab something that I did a long time ago
Sure,
and
sure.
throw that up there
You
because
don't want to miss the end of this because I got something that I know you're going to want to talk about.
Well, a world made of cardboard says that the moral of the story is if we give Twinkies to criminals, crime would stop.
Yes, that's right.
No more
So
crime.
I like these. I like these villains, the concept of them. They're intergalactic gold eaters. These are intergalactic creatures who survive by eating gold. Uh, yes, and they've penetrated the innermost vault of Fort Knox. Meanwhile, at the Batcave, gold eating creatures in the heart of Fort Knox, you say? I've got a 14-carat solution. Oof. Uh, we will have our fill of gold bars. Sorry, that's going to be a change of plan. Gold creatures try golden bars. Oh, Twinkies. Duh.
Duh.
Hostess Twinkie cakes. Better than gold. These guys are some interdimensional beings that sustain themselves by eating, a precious element. But you know what? Sponge-filled cakes,
It's
cream-filled
just as
sponge
good.
cakes,
Sure.
just as good. Just as good.
Gojutron makes a good point. I remember the Hostess pies when we were kids in the 70s. They tasted a whole lot better than the ones they have now. I mean, they changed their formula or
They
something.
were bigger as well. I think they
Were they
shrunk
bigger
the
or
size.
were our
I
hands
think so. Oh,
smaller?
maybe I could be. That could be a thing. So check out this ridiculous concept of the next one. Half the people here. So there's a villain whose ability is to make everyone half. I don't know. I take a gold eater over a gold digger any day. So look, all the people are creepily drawn half. You see this? Isn't it like just a weird, disgusting ad? I don't know. Everyone's
It
sliced
is
in half, but
bizarre.
functional. And they keep making half puns in it because he's like, half of Hal Jordan steps in place. Not half a second to waste. I'll use my ring to change it to half Green Lantern.
Oh
Now,
wow.
I've an idea that's not half bad. I'll need your help.
Now, a world made of cardboard asks, why would Batman date Catwoman when he could date a fellow flyer, Pigeon Woman? Well,
Of course.
unfortunately, world made of cardboard, I think Catwoman ate the pigeon. That's probably what happened.
So, and then they chose to do this silhouette shot where it's the facing the wrong half. The part that's missing. They're just
Mm.
so creepy. Looking at these pictures just made me like, ugh. It's just so skeevy. And then obviously, I don't know how Twinkies made him stop turning everyone into half people, but
There were some wacky things in the Silver Age. These
yeah.
aren't so far off from some of the stuff in the comics.
Oh my God, can you see this? Like that half thing just cracks me up. It just
It,
makes no sense. It's so odd.
it's different.
And then, I thought Bill would like this one because he's a Motu fan. But we've got Triclops, the three-eyed keeper of the cave, versus Green Lantern. So he says, "Okay, Triclops, your days of gluttonous crime are over. Oh no, my power rings run out. No energy left in it. Nothing in my stomach either. Dim Lantern, and you'll fill it nicely." As Triclops and Green Lantern are locked in mortal combat, two young explorers appear. Look, Green Lantern's about to be Triclops' dinner. Let's use our hostess Twinkies cakes to tempt him. And then look, he's just eating. They decide to sit down and just have a chat. And then Green Lantern runs away. Look at this. He's like, "Well, I'm off to recharge my ring." I'm glad Triclops prefers golden Twinkie cakes to Green Lanterns. Jeez.
That's got to be a bummer when he can't fly away. He's got to, take a
Yeah,
taxi because his
look,
ring's
yeah,
out of
yeah,
power.
yeah. He's just walking away like a. And then this one, Wonder Woman versus the Cheetah, just cracked me up because of the last panel. Uh, it says, "By Hera, the cheetah pet is certainly no pussycat." I can't really read it, so. But anyway, obviously she uses Hostess cupcakes to tempt. Okay, take this present to your mistress. what a smart puss to bring me these delicious Hostess cupcakes. That's exactly how it was written, folks. So she's distracted eating the cupcakes. And then Wonder Woman comes back here and look at her. She's giving the cat an uppercut, the one that she trained.
Animal abuse.
Yeah,
Animal
she's like
abuse.
she's like
Animal abuse.
while the cheetah enjoys her Hostess cupcakes, I'll take care of her little pets, and she's beating the
Bjorn.
crap out of
Bjorn.
them.
Hold on. Bjorn.
Yes.
Google is your friend. Go to Google. Put in Sean Baby's Hostess page, and I guarantee that the first 3 links are going to be something over there on Sean Baby's page, and he's got just about them all there. So do that.
Yeah. I thought these were hilarious, man. When I was reading these, I just couldn't take it. I mean, I remembered the one with the Flash, and I still need to find it. But then, because I was looking up ads, I did come across some of these, and I know we talked about these in the past.
We were
So
talking about Captain O the other day. Yep.
There's Captain O, and there's some of the prizes. I want to know if anyone in the chat or Bill.
Oh yeah. Now is the other one the seeds? The you can get rich selling seeds. You remember that one?
So
Mhm.
this one was a different one, and I'm trying to zoom in on it. This one was a really good res here. But I
Nailed
do
this.
remember there was that bike. I wanted that bicycle so bad.
Yeah, well, you're never going to sell enough to sell the bike. You'd have to sell.
Yeah.
Ask for Peggy. So Peggy's
Yep.
over there answering the phone.
And she
I
looks
like
just
that
like
Peggy also. Yeah, she has a super suit just like Captain O.
Yep.
To answer the telephone.
Well, of course.
So that was a pretty fun one. And then Bill, I got some that I know are gonna set you off. You gotta know something about these because if anyone does know, it's gotta be you. Look at the next one. The Polaris nuclear.
First off, I've got a book that actually shows what that thing looked like if you bought it.
Okay.
Entirely made of cardboard.
Over 7
And-
feet long, seats 2 kids, controls that work, rockets that fire, real periscope, firing torpedoes, electrically lit instrument pedal. Hours and hours of adventure.
And it's made of cardboard, so if you put it in the water, it disintegrates. So it cannot go in the water. You have to pretend you're in the water.
Okay.
Is it really 7 feet long though? They send you a big
Yes,
7
they
foot.
send you enough cardboard to put this thing together. It's like putting together a paper craft, but it's all made out of cardboard.
Well,
I bet a world made of cardboard would love that.
He says he loves cardboard. So
Mhm.
it's not a real. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't actually say it goes in the water anywhere on the ad, right?
Right.
No. So it
No,
just
you
okay.
can't put that in the water. You would die because it would disintegrate and you would sink. It's made of cardboard.
It's only $6.98. How about this one though? I've got a story.
Oh my
about
God, the pet monkeys by mail. I had a friend of mine, and they had a spider monkey, and those things are horrible.
Yes, my grandmother had a spider monkey. She didn't order it through an ad, but I was too young to remember it, but I do remember the thing was an absolute terror. And she got it just from someone on the street or something, and she thought it'd be cool, but the thing just tore the place up. It was a beast.
You can't. Against the law to do this now. You can't even keep exotic animals, and it's probably a good thing. Nobody needs those
But
things.
for years and years to come, people were, my family members would talk about the time Grandma brought home a monkey.
Yeah, and they don't think about the fact that these critters live a long time. My grandfather bought one for my mom when she was a little girl, and when I was a teenager, that monkey was still alive. They named him Chi-Chi after Chi-Chi Rodriguez.
Sure.
And he was a mean little snot, and he would smile at you to get you to come close to the cage, and if you had any food, he'd try to take it from you, and he would always if you did feed him, he would take the food and then he would try to bite you. Just cut.
Right, let's leave that ad up for just a minute. I'm going to go through this ad in excruciating detail.
Sure, please do.
This darling pet monkey. It's a squirrel monkey. Makes an adorable pet and companion. Almost human, warm eyes. Your family will love it. They grow about 12 inches high. They eat the same food as you. You can give them lollipops. Wonderful. Look, You get a free cage, free leather collar and leash, free toys, instructions, include loads of fun and amusement as the thing goes wild and eats your freaking face off.
Seriously. I
Well,
thought when I saw this
uh,
ad, I was just said, I know Bill's gonna know something about it because of course you look at it and you go, "What the hell?" And I'm like,
Well,
"This
now,
is
now, now, now,
something."
Studio is talking about lawn darts. Okay, the reason they brought lawn darts off the market is because we actually launched them at each other, which is not
yeah.
what you're supposed to do. And yes, Shaitan's Hammer, you could order live animals through the mail back in those days. Speaking of live animals, I'll show you in a minute. Harold von Braun sold crazy crabs at one time, which were hermit crabs, and you actually got this live hermit crab in the mail. Mattel
Bizarre.
new M16 Marauder, brap, brap, brap.
I
Oh
just
yeah,
love the illustration
they
on this
would it.
one.
No, you can't do that. And
Look
look,
at the illustration. That kid
what
is
you don't
just
see, is off the screen is the cop with his gun drawn, fixing to kill this poor
oh
kid.
my god. Can you believe this one?
Oh,
Yeah, that was
that's
back
almost
before
as
the
bad as,
days
as,
when.
as the Daisy BB gun ads. I'm sure. Did you have one of those in the mix there?
I don't. I think I only have one more slide, and then this is the one that this is the big one. Oh
Uh-oh.
no, I'm sorry, this isn't. There's one more after this, but check this one
Darth
out.
Vader lives. All right, we got to see this up close here. Let's see what all
I'm
we
just
get.
curious if anyone knew anything about this.
A
So the part that
costume and
really
mask.
stuck
Now,
out.
wait a minute. The costume and mask are made by Ben Cooper. If that tells you anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ben Cooper made all kinds of Star Wars stuff back in the day.
Well, let's just say that the mask is made of plastic. It's a half mask with a rubber band on it, and
Mhm.
the costume is a schmuck with a picture of Darth Vader on it. So there you go.
Right.
Now you know what the costume-
Made out of
Okay.
plastic.
yeah,
Or
It was like
vinyl.
vacuum formed, really
Vinyl, yep.
thin plastic. Yeah, it was like real thin.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
those
So-
vinyl costumes, those Ben Cooper vinyl costumes were horrendous because you
Oh my
couldn't breathe
God.
in them.
And
you get
they would
kids
cut
running
your-
around on
your
Halloween and
lips.
they're
you
Oh,
try
yeah.
to talk. Like, so this one says, the space enemy approaches. Out comes your SST laser sword. Turn the
Ooh.
switch, and the giant 36-inch laser lights a glowing blade of red. It's all yours, and thoroughly tested. Safe, and the soft plastic tube is battery operated when with a light filter. $7.95 plus 75 cents shipping and handling.
So
Did
basically,
anyone
they sent
buy
you a
this?
flashlight with a colored filter and
Yeah,
a
I'm
plastic cone on the
wondering
end of it.
if anyone ever made this or ever ordered away for that, because I don't remember this ad. I just happened to see it while I was looking at the other ones.
Yes,
No.
yes. The Ben Cooper costumes were approved by Lucasfilms, I'm sure. As you can see, the lightsaber there is a rip off of the Kenner lightsaber. If you remember that was a flashlight with a blow up tube on
Mhm.
it for the blade. But yeah, the Ben Cooper costumes were signed off by the people that they were the owners of the IPs. Yes. What's the World Made of Cardboard says? There's a punch out display for Vader that was released as well. It was just a 3D version of the front of his mask. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then finally,
The
we've
sea
got
monkey-
sea
the
monkeys, so
classic
eager to
ad,
please.
the
They could
Monkey
even be trained.
family. And the Magic Castle in the background, we have Pop, Mom, brother, and little sister there. And of course, you see the tank with them floating around it, and the family looking at it. It's a bowl full of happiness, instant pets. Just add water, and you can have your own little sea monkey family to control and lord over.
And look at the illustration of the family
They
gazing
look
at the sea
so
monkeys.
captivated.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, back in those days, it didn't take a lot to entertain people more, obviously.
Now, Bill, being an aficionado on sea monkeys, were they actually eager to please? Could they be trained?
Yes. Matter of fact, they could. But it took a little bit of forethought on your part to fool the people into thinking that you had them trained. Sea monkeys are light sensitive. So if you dim the room in the house and you take a small pin light or flashlight and you move it around the tank, they'll follow the light instinctively. And you can say, look, I've trained my sea monkeys to follow the light.
$1 plus 30 cents shipping for each kit. And if you want a rush order, you could add an extra 50 cents. They really
And
weren't asking much for these.
The price on that stayed about the same for years and years and years. I think it finally got up to about $1.25 or $1.50 at one point with back in the 70s. But yeah, brine shrimp are perfect to feed the monkeys. Well, brine shrimp are perfect to feed your fish. Now the sea monkeys themselves, while they are brine shrimp, they have been bred to live a little longer and they're a little hardier than the brine shrimp that you buy at the fish food store.
I'd say not bad, but yeah. So I hope you don't mind.
No, I didn't mind at all. Now
I was going down this rabbit hole looking for that ad that I remember. I couldn't find it, but I kept seeing other things that were distracting me and cracking me up. So I said, let me just collect some of these, and next time I see Bill, I'm going to show him to him.
Here we go. You've got me wanting to show off an ad here, so that's what I'm going to do. We have here the Incredible Hulk versus the Roller Disco Devils.
I saw this one, and I did pass on it, but I'm glad you brought it up.
I'm appreciating detail about this on my blog. Yes, another classic comic ad back in the day. Hostess Baker's maker of cupcakes, Twinkies, and fruit pies decided to reach the kiddies through comic ads. The ads ingeniously used all the popular superheroes of the day in full-page spreads in the hopes that it would lure the little ragamuffins into reading them. The villains usually had to be one-shot villains with incredibly lame themes, ergo the Roller Disco Devils. These Z-grade supervillains were mostly defeated by distracting them with the glorious taste of delicious Hostess confections. However, this wasn't always the case. There were exceptions, such as this rather extreme exception. Let's break down the actions here. Okay. A lame street gang with a disco and roller skating motif are terrorizing the town merely by skating up and down the street and listening to their favorite disco tune. Yeah, yeah, baby, woo, woo, rock, roll, yeah, yeah, artist unknown. Some kids are whining about being trapped in their apartment by their moms who won't let them out to buy Hostess fruit pies. Not because they don't want them eating junk food, but because of the ruckus being raised by the devils. Speaking of which, let's take a closer look at them for a moment. A gang of about 7 badly dressed, out of shape, overgrown juvenile delinquents who are out to prove that they're still cool and that disco isn't dead. Wearing loud, flat clothes and roller skates, they like to boogie woogie all night, day long. Look at that fat one in the green leisure suit. Pathetic.
Nice.
Pay close attention to what becomes of their yellow shirted leader later. All this noise, of course, wakes up the Hulk, who jumps out of nowhere. He isn't just upset by this, he's very upset. Hulk hates disco so bad that he handles this the only way he knows how, by brutally murdering them in the most gruesome manner possible. He rolls them up in the asphalt like a bloody ho-ho cake. Remember that devil with the yellow pirate shirt? He's being wrapped around his own spine. All right, I'm going to share another browser screen here. Let me go in the studio mode and do that.
Well, while you're working on that, you can answer a question from World Made of Cardboard. He wants to know, how long do sea monkeys live?
The sea monkeys themselves live like weeks or two, but what you want to do is you want to have the colony live, and that was they can last for years and years and years if you take care of them well.
So they kind of breed and
they do their little thing. Yes, they do perpetuate. Actually, they really
the family that's sitting there around the fishbowl is watching the sea monkeys make sweet, sweet love. Is that what you're telling me?
They do make sweet, sweet love. As a matter of fact, the male sea monkeys have these appendages on the front of their head that looks like a mustache, but actually what that's for is for capturing the females and doing the dirty deed with them.
I see.
So
Fun for the whole
it's
family.
kind of like watching it's watching Wild Kingdom in your fishbowl.
Yes, absolutely. I've got to pull this up because I've taken some liberties with some of these pictures here so that you can see what really happened. And I've got to get that into a browser screen that you can see. And okay, that. And let's bring this in and let's see if we can see picture here.
The disco devil in the green shirt looks like he ate all the hostess cake, so he's a prime example of what happens. Childhood obesity gone wrong.
All right, so what we see, so what we should be seeing here is what actually happened to them when the whole asphalt here. So there's that, and let me go back here to the page I was looking at. So he's rolling him up in the asphalt. Yeah. So surely they must all be dead. The only thing missing is the sound effect of every last bone in the devil's body is being crushed and shattered. Okay, and let's move back to the next picture here.
Bill, you did a little bit of touch up on that, right? You added the blood and everything.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit, so you can see what really must have happened if something like that were to happen to someone.
Awesome.
With the streets now safe and quiet, everybody celebrates, entirely ignoring the dead bodies presumably bleeding out beside them. It's time for delicious Hostess fruit pies for everyone. Everyone, that is, except the Hulk, who is left wondering why humans can't be as nice as those fruit pies. Now, wait a minute. How come the Hulk can't enjoy a tasty fruit pie with the kids?
It looks like he's got a cheek full of something there.
Listen to me. Hear me out here. It certainly looks like the artist intended for the Hulk to be eating a fruit pie in that last panel, what with his mouth full and his hand slightly in a slight grasping position, pinky out and all, yet there's no sign of an actual fruit pie. Well, that's because of this rule, strictly imposed on the artist by the editors to protect their particular brand of heroes. Apparently, actually consuming the confections crosses over into full-fledged endorsement, and somehow that would be really bad, and we can't have that. Sure, the Hulk can brutally execute 7 men over a mere noise ordinance violation, but he can never eat the fruit pie, so it was clumsily erased out of his hand. And
brilliant.
Let us look a little more closely here. As you can see, I put the fruit pie back in his hand so the Hulk can eat the dang thing.
Excellent.
Poor
And
Hulk.
Bill, this is from your blog, Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
It absolutely is, and that was one of the first blog articles that I did back in the day. But yeah,
and I just wanted to direct you to the chat. There was a person in there, Bone Breaking Action, who said, "First time seeing this channel. This is great. He's having fun." So, really
good.
glad to have you here.
I'm glad that someone's having fun here today. We're having a ton of it, I guess. So, yeah. And that disco devil got what he deserved. Oh, brutal. Yeah, this is great. Yeah. And Bone, I'm glad to have you here. Please do subscribe if you can. We would appreciate that.
I gotta say, I'm a little proud of myself because when I saw these ads, I thought you'd really enjoy them. But
I
seeing
love
the
this
smile
kind
on your face
comic ads
really
makes
makes me think it was really
I'm
worth
an
it.
aficionado of comic ads. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know I read all these as a kid, but I never thought of the consequences of the Hulk's actions there.
Well,
now I feel kind of dirty.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, okay, so
you
ruined my childhood, Bill. I could never look at a Hostess fruit pie without thinking about.
When you were fiddling around there, did you miss the one with the Green Lantern where all the people were cut in half but still functioning somehow? Did you see that ad? That one just
so bizarre.
I think if you did some touch-up work on that and you showed like the the 3D man, like their bones, their skin layers, muscle layers, because they're all
You
still
know,
functioning, walking around.
I put a link up there to Sean Baby's page a minute ago, and I'm going to do it again here.
Yeah, terrific collection there. Although
Yeah,
it didn't
as a
have my
matter of fact, no. One of the things that Sean Baby does over there is he critiques these ads as well. So the critiques are almost as funny as just reading the ad itself. And oh, look who we have here. We have Rolo is in the house. He reported himself back from the hospital. Love you, brothers, and good to see you. And good. Could you contact me on my Discord? I will do that after the show today. I promise.
Rolo. Awesome to
Good
see
to
you.
hear
Glad you're
from you.
back.
Dane Bramage is here. Good to see you. And Bone Breaking Action says, just had a baby. I'm looking forward to getting her some sea monkeys one day. I remember how cool they were when I got them as a super little kid. If I were you, I would purchase them directly from Yolanda von Braunhut on this official Sea Monkeys website. And if you do that, then you know that they will be packaged by her by hand in her garage.
So if you just go on Google and look up sea monkeys, that'll pop up, or
Well, yes, but be careful what you buy in the stores, because some of that stuff is ripoffs made in China, especially if you get some of the older kits that were made by Big Time Toys. My childhood has been taken in a whole new direction with Sweet Sea Monkey Love.
Sweet sea monkey.
indeed.
Satan's
my
Hammer,
God.
you know, one of those ads triggered Alan Moore into creating the Watchmen.
That makes sense. That's where it all started. He was reading those as a kid, and a thought was formed.
So, still, once again, looking for that Flash ad. It's Batman or Superman.
Dane Bramage, I believe, is our friend No Way Farms, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, very cool. It's
He's on
either
the phone.
Superman or Batman. He sees a note on the table. He picks it up, and it says, "Be right back. Had to run out and get some Hostess Twinkies or cupcakes or fruit pies or whatever." He says, "Be back," and it's a fraction of a second. And it just cracked me up, and I want to see that ad again, but I cannot find it anywhere. Just kills me, because how do you leave a note saying you'll be back in a fraction of a second when it takes several seconds to read the note? It just kills me.
Thank you, Susudio. That warms my heart. She started watching because of our AOM after show. Subscribe because of the courtesy that we've shown to you by our community here, and also she has had some of those toys that we show off. Some of the benches. So yeah,
and I gotta say, the studio has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to pop culture stuff, because anything we've brought up, I haven't found a thing we brought up yet that she hasn't had some kind of memory or experience with. So always love to see her pop up in chat sharing her knowledge.
Good to see you, Jesse Hughes.
And Epic Badger with the what are you printing in the background?
I'm starting to see a segment, Will, on your channel.
I like the meme, and I know where it's from, but it doesn't trigger me in the least bit, because I'm super excited, because he actually showed me something that I'm going to be getting here shortly.
Yep, and I'll send that over to you as soon as.
What about the slime pit with the tentacles coming out of it? That's going to be a booger bear to print, I bet.
Yeah, that one is. I looked at it earlier today. It's like a 8-hour print or something like that. It's huge, but I'll give it a shot.
I'm telling you, Will. Look, Tim Pool has a chicken cam. I think you can have a 3D printer cam. Just have a camera on there, just showing this thing printing 24/7. Just have it roll.
All
Put
right,
the question in the chat, and we'll attempt to answer it, my friend.
Dumb looks are free. We give those, if we don't know.
As drool comes out of the side of your mouth, yeah.
Or if I don't know the answer, I'll just refer
Gojitron
to my
has a suggestion for Largo's lair.
Indeed. Well, the only problem with having an Eduardo cam is Eduardo lives next door with my country neighbors. And unfortunately, the elderly lady, lovely lady, she does sometimes tend to, let's just say, go topless in the backyard to let everything breathe. So that might end up on the chicken cam. So I don't think that's a good idea. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that.
All right, you just triggered a memory, Largo, and I apologize to everyone here in the chat. I apologize right now, but this has to be said.
Uh-oh.
The Vietnam Vets Motorcycle Club used to have a big freedom rally in the summertime. And it was one of the first rallies that my wife and I went to when we first started riding motorcycles. Now, this was before things changed. The clothing was still optional at some of these places when the rally was going on. And there was this old man and this old woman who should have known better, and they never wore clothes the whole time they were there. And the man would sit on one of those chairs with their woven lawn chairs, and
I see where that's going.
The bottom was worn out of it, and you could see something swinging underneath it. And the old lady, she was so old that she had like these leather flaps.
Gravity was not kind, is what you're saying.
And I was traumatized. I mean, I really was. I mean, so I can only imagine what you're looking at when you see that happen.
Bill, you need a Hostess fruit pie. That'll make everything all right.
You just cover them up with some.
I am going to Dollar General. I'm going to Dollar General after this show is over with, and I'm going to get some damn Hostess cakes.
Indeed.
Oh god.
It'll make everything better.
Yeah, Bill, it's going to take more than an apology to clear that from the palate.
Cecilia, I don't have a great knowledge about computers or printers. I wonder if there's classes to learn about them both on the YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty of YouTube.
You look up on YouTube like 3D printing. There's so many wonderful channels out there. I mean, so many that and some of them get a little too technical too quick. So you want to look for some of the more kind of easygoing ones. Twinkie the Kid. Twinkie the Kid is hanging out with a little cowboy hat and a laptop.
Oh, it's story time. It's another story time. This one is much better than the last one, folks. Okay, my Scoutmaster actually had a Twinkie the Kid costume. And he would wear this thing in the parades that we would have, like the Christmas parade. And I can distinctly remember that the Boy Scouts, we had taken a flatbed trailer and we had pitched a tent on the thing and made it look like we were camping out on it. And that was our float, right? And the Scoutmaster was in his Twinkie the Kid outfit, and he was, kind of walking along beside us as Twinkie the Kid.
Please tell me this has a happy ending.
Oh, well, it kind of does.
Okay.
It kind of does. Okay, so the parade had kind of meandered around into a darker section of town that didn't have any street lights.
No,
and a gang of young thugs had begun to accost Twinkie the Kid. And Twinkie the Kid walks over to the toolbox on the back of his pickup truck there and pulls out a tire iron and starts chasing the kid. Tire iron in his hand.
You guys all sit around eating Hostess cakes while just laughing over the bodies.
It was hilariously funny.
They're just bleeding on the street, and you guys are eating Hostess cupcakes.
Kool-Aid, massive property damage every time he showed up with a cool, refreshing drink.
Did you know? Thanks for the Kool-Aid, but can you fix the wall? You know
the Kool-Aid Man is real because he is in the Marvel universe. He's actually a Marvel character. Did you know that?
Kool-Aid Man?
I did not know that.
He's a sentient
Kool-Aid Man had 2
Kool-Aid.
comic books.
Okay. And you're drinking him when you drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean he's pouring himself
That's
out into your
just
glass.
his lifeblood into your glass.
The Hulk should have rolled those thugs up in asphalt, and he did.
Yeah, the Disco Devils do not stand a chance against Twinkie the Kid.
Epic Badger. Looking eastward from the height of the Rockies, man, them eastern folks are weird.
Florida man.
Indeed.
Them damn Floridians.
Florida man. Florida man 3D prints himself and sends his copy to work. It doesn't work.
It's awesome that
That would
being
be
tied
fun.
into the Marvel universe
That's
makes you real. Absolutely, man. You didn't know that. Marvel's all based upon reality. Oscar Mayer Weenie Mobile, who remembers that? The studio brings that
Yep.
up.
That gets around, man. My brother found a decommissioned one for sale, and he was trying to buy it, but fell through. But he was really looking forward to it. He was really trying to score the
You know,
deal.
talking about the Weenie Mobile, you know, Ronald McDonald had like a shoe mobile. Do you remember that damn thing?
Really?
I remember that was
Giant
like in the
red
Macy Day
shoe
parade or
right-
something. Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
I'll be right back.
No, I guess I ran him off
Yeah.
with the Ronald McDonald shoe mobile.
All those mascots have kind of come and gone. There's not too many of them left anymore.
No. My baloney has a first name, it's OSCAR. Baloney has a second name, it's MAYER. And if you ask me, I eat it every day because Oscar Mayer is the name in BOLOGNA, something like that.
Oscar Mayer has a way with BOLO.
All right. So, guys, I've got a retirement party for one of my managers.
Yes,
who's
World of Made
retiring
Cardboard, they are
at 3 o'clock.
absolutely real.
So I got to get ready and head to the store and pick up her gift and head to that party. So I got to.
Thanks for popping in, Will.
I didn't realize
I'll-
the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
glad-
thank you
glad
so
to
much,
have you,
guys.
man.
I'm glad you enjoyed the whole slideshow there. I was happy to.
Well, it was
share.
great, man.
Yeah.
This was a wonderful part of the show, man. I really enjoyed having you on and having you put that
Yeah.
up there for us. I mean, that
So,
was hilarious. It gave me
Jim,
a chance.
Bill, everyone in chat. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Adios,
Till
my
next
friend.
time.
Thank you.
Now I got to go see if I can find the Guatemalan equivalent of a Hostess fruit pie. I don't know what that would be, but I'm sure there's one out
yeah,
there.
that. I mean, we're getting hungry here, aren't we, there, Largo?
Just a tad. But it's it was definitely an interesting stream today so far. Things
And it's only
things took a left turn at
we're not even an
Albuquerque.
hour and a half into it. I mean, we've covered a lot. Ted Darklaw's here. Hey, man, what's going on, Ted Darklaw? Good to see you, man.
Greetings.
Listening in the background while he's at work. All right.
Very cool.
Yeah, if you're just now arriving here, Ted, you missed most of the fun and games when we were going through some most hilarious Hostess ads and critiquing them here on the show.
Oh yeah, it's worth a rewatch when you get a chance if you're a fan of classic Marvel and DC characters and Hostess fruit pies and Twinkies and whatnot. Because we got an education.
And there Sue Studio is singing the jingle from the Oscar Mayer Wieners. We remember that. I do remember that commercial.
Indeed.
Gojatron says, too bad Marvel didn't use the licensed characters in the Hostess ad. We would love to see Baron Karza defeated by cupcakes. Actually, they did. Not just Marvel, but DC also did use some of their licensed villains in the comics. I can remember the Penguin being defeated by Hostess cupcakes or something. And Ted Darklaw says he's been catching up on the last two shows. Yeah.
Cool.
The weekends are my time to shine. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for me, but and at various different times. And occasionally a special during the week. There are some specials out there. I think Shaitan's Hammer has been going back through the back catalog and watching some of the older episodes. I've seen some comments that he's been making on some of the older videos and liking them, giving that good old heart there. So good. Randomness. Hey, that's what this show's all about, isn't it, Largo? Just random thoughts and kind of
Yeah,
consciousness.
stream of consciousness indeed. But we kind of have our wheelhouse that we roll in, which is vintage toys and classic comics, and sometimes we'll run off on a tangent, or we'll get sparked by a particular movie or TV show, or who knows, whatever comes up in the chat.
Years ago, my wife and I were stuck on the side of the road while waiting for a tow. We started singing all the commercial jingles we could remember: Oscar Mayer, Toys R Us, Pepsodent, and many, many others. I bet that was a lot of fun. And Susudio was talking about that body shop that actually builds the Batmobiles. There was a controversy about that here not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he builds licensed Batmobiles of the George Barris version from the old 66 TV show.
Interesting. I bet those things are terrible to drive, though. They're so long, that wheelbase.
It's based upon the Lincoln Futura, which was a prototype car that came out. Jerry Lawler actually owns George Barris' Batmobile.
The original that he built for the show, or
I don't know if it's if it's one of these remakes or what, but yeah, he lives up in Memphis, out in Germantown, and he actually owns a Batmobile. He's got a Coca-Cola memorabilia collection. It's out of this world.
I bet. Yeah, it seems like there's quite a few of those Hollywood cars that have been remade by different garages. We've seen the Knight Rider and the General Lee and all kinds of stuff out there.
And Cecilia says this guy's also building the newer Batmobile. That'd be the Keaton Batmobile, if I'm not mistaken. I saw one of those driving down the road when I was going through Louisville, Kentucky on the interstate one time. I didn't know they were street legal.
I wouldn't think they would be. I mean, there's no mirrors, or I don't know how you can see out of that cockpit. I guess you have cameras, but
I have no idea. I would think that it would be like a danger to drive in reality. Do you remember? Now I'm going off on something because I got to leave out of the room. But last night, I promised those people that I was going to show something that I never showed. Do you remember me doing that, Largo?
No, I don't recall.
At the very beginning of the show. Now, she's not here because she's at work, probably. She's a waitress. But OBS said she wanted a magic tree.
Ah, yes. We did discuss a certain magic tree.
I even uploaded it, which cost a little bit of, but I'm going to quickly show a magic trick while I run and get some more water for the coffee maker. You mind that, Largo?
No, that sounds like a good idea. I think people in the chat would like to see a magic trick.
It's a He-Man magic trick. It uses the magic trick that is actually included with the vintage Orko figure. So here we go, folks.
Originally, Orko came with a magic trick, and I even performed it for you in a video. But today, I'm going to show you a different way of performing it on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Now here's a warning. You won't be able to perform this magic trick the way I'm doing it with what you got with Orko's magic trick. First of all, Orko's magic trick came with a gimmick. We're not going to use the gimmick. Also, we've got actually 4 coins here, which the Orko coin trick didn't come with Merman and Trapjaw. So, first of all, we've got our heroic warriors, and we're going to trap them in a dungeon, deep down within a castle. So here they are, trapped in the dungeon. We're going to go way down in there and trap them. Then we're going to take the evil warriors, that's Skeletor, Beastman, Merman, and Triclops. Trapjaw. And we're going to put them over here in this hand right here. Okay? Now we need to get Orko to do the magic trick. So we're going to take our evil warriors right there. Orko. I'm going to place him over them. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And our evil warriors are gone. Replaced with our heroic warriors. And inside that deep, dark castle dungeon, we're going to find that's where our evil warriors ended up. Skeletor, Beastman, Merman, and Trapjaw. Hope you enjoyed it. Improved Orko's magic trick.
All right, Largo's going to get a cup of coffee. He'll be back with us in just a minute. Let's check out the comment section. I think World Made of Cardboard had to take off. Going through the chat here. Double Mint Gum, Alka-Seltzer, Burger King, McDonald's, thinking about all those classic commercials. Dame Emery says, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Susudio says she'd like a replica of the Monkey Mobile, and I remember that. World Made of Cardboard says the Keaton Batmobile is more like a float than a car.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
The Bessie, not Betsy, but Bessie was
Bessie.
the name of the little Edwardian roadster that John Pertwee's doctor rode around in, and his wife got a chance to see that.
Cool.
I would love to see that.
I don't remember seeing the Betsy, but I did see his hovercraft that he had. The
Who-Mobile. Yes, the Who-Mobile. Now, do you know the story behind the Who-Mobile?
I know that John Pertwee personally had it commissioned. I think that was his personal vehicle.
That was his own car, and he had the car commissioned. It was called the Alien. Was the actual name of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got the registration number to put on it, it actually said HVO2M on it, which is
nice.
Close to Who. And so he wanted to feature it on the show, so they actually wrote a couple of episodes that featured the alien vehicle that Pertwee had made for himself. And I don't know whatever became of that, but John died tragically here several years ago, actually at a Doctor Who convention.
That I didn't know. I knew he had passed, but I didn't know it was actually at a convention.
No. I'm misthinking. I'm getting confused with Troughton. Troughton was the one that died at a Doctor Who convention.
Oh, okay.
There's more to that story, but I'm not going to repeat it here on the air. So
fair enough.
It needs to be looked up, though.
Well, let's see who's left. We've got Tom Baker still around.
I mean, we had 12 a minute ago, and now we're back up to 14, even after World of Cardboard had to take off.
Oh, I was talking about how many of the original doctors are left, not how many are in the chat. But
the doctors themselves now. Let's see who we've lost. Bill Hartnell is gone. John Pertwee is gone. Patrick Troughton's gone. They've been dying in order, by the way, if you noticed.
Ironic.
Yeah. So Tom Baker is still with us. Peter Davison is still with us. Colin Baker is still with us. And Sylvester McCoy. So,
I think.
And, of course, all of the modern doctors, I'm sure, are still alive. But as far as I don't know how much longer Tom Baker's going to hold in, because he's getting pretty ancient looking. And he's gotten to the point where he can hardly walk. That one episode that he cameoed in as the curator.
That was cool.
Yeah, you could see
what's neat are these what they call the Big Finish audio stories.
Absolutely.
Because all of these old doctors can still do the voice, even though they don't look like they did. And so it's been great to get new adventures with
Tom hasn't been kind of poor old Colin either. Colin Baker's getting kind of big there.
Yeah.
But little man might be sleeping time to go and try and have a nap. Have a great day. We take care. Glad to have you in. Come back again soon. I mean, we were just over here having fun, talking about all kind of different things.
Yep.
But did you see the latest episode? The one where Jody regenerated back into
I
David
stopped watching after the 12th, whose name is escaping me at the moment. I'm looking at his figure up
Capaldi.
here. Capaldi, thank you.
Yeah, Peter
Yes,
Capaldi.
I liked Peter Capaldi as the doctor. He
He
could
was
have
very
had.
reminiscent. He was very reminiscent of John Pertwee's doctor on purpose, as a matter of fact. And
Yeah, the costume and the hair, and he kind of had the same look. Oh, Goji met Colin Baker. Very cool.
And Susudio is talking about the Bill and Ted set with the phone booth. A lot of people get that set just to get the phone booth out and use it with their pictures that they do with their superpowers and display.
Ironically, the Nacelle company that I just reviewed their RoboForce on their website, they have that Bill and Ted telephone booth and a Bill and Ted 2-pack with their air guitars.
I would love to have that phone booth. I mean, I've got a cardboard model phone booth. I have the model that a fellow by the name Pat Crawford 3D printed for me of an unproduced Kenner playset phone booth for the Superpower set.
Neat.
Granthead Jim has a copy of that as well. I had two of them in my collection, and I gave one of them to Jim.
You know, the Clark Kent mail away, it would have been great if he had come with a phone booth to switch from Clark to Superman. That would have been
The interesting thing about that playset was it was designed to serve two purposes. It could be Clark Kent's phone booth, and the original prototype had a flip sign at the top, so you flip it from phone booth to jail, and it had this little plastic lock that you could put on it, and you could stick like the villains in it and pretend like it was a jail. Kind of like that you see all on the sides of the streets today, just like the phone booth.
Well, technically, wasn't the British police box sometimes used for that capacity?
It could be. It could be. Now, the interior of a real police box does not look like the TARDIS on the inside.
Unfortunately, no.
Do you know that
like
the things were made out of concrete? They weren't.
No,
made out
I didn't
of
know
wood.
that.
They were made out of concrete. Now, the one door opened. The other side did not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other side, the one that didn't open, did have you could open it up and you could reach in and get to the telephone that was inside of it. That was what that was for. So you could make an emergency phone call to the police if you needed to. But mainly it was used as a little office for the constable to go in. There was a bench in there with a stool, and you could lock the door, of course, and it had a lamp on top. And the lamp would light, and the constable could see the lamp lit, and he would know he needed to go to the phone box and
the
call
police
back
box.
to the station. Yeah, the police telephone box. Some of the earlier models also had a door on the outside that could be opened with a first aid kit inside of it.
Makes sense.
And the Scottish versions, instead of being painted blue, were painted red.
That would be confusing because phones are red in the UK.
Yeah, and the other thing, the door didn't open inwards; it opened outwards.
And they made a joke about that at one point in Doctor Who. There was one episode where somebody pointed out the fact that, what does it say on my door? It says on the door of the TARDIS. Does it say pull or does it say push? What does it say?
Well, the pull to open was the little door where the phone was.
Right, but the thing is, the doctor always pushes the whole door in, and apparently you're supposed to pull it out.
The real phone boxes never did that. The police boxes never did that. And yes, you could lock someone inside if you needed to, and I think that it was designed with that in mind. But I don't think they ever used that function. It was more or less on the inside. There was a desk or a little bench or a stool to sit on, and that's where the constable could go and do his reports at the end of the day or something like that. Make out an arrest report if he arrested somebody.
Right. So no.
And Sir I Like Salt is in the house. I'm good to see you, Sir I Like Salt. Sir I Like Salt. We didn't see you last night on the withdrawal show. I hope everything is going well with you, sir. I'm curious to know how you made out last night without JPR. And we're about an hour 39. It feels like we've been on forever, but I think it's just because we've covered so many different things.
We have.
So, Studio, before Toys R Us went out of business, the WWE had a Vince McMahon figure. I have one of those. I kind of wish I'd gotten it because it was the only time that they had made it. That's not true. They made the Vince McMahon figure a couple of times. As a matter of fact, they have one where he looks a little younger, and they also have one where he looks a little older. So yeah, I've got that Vince McMahon figure. As a matter of fact, over on my Deviant Art page, I think I shared that with you earlier today, Largo. There's a whole section in there with some pictures of some of my WWE figures, including a picture of Vince in his office chewing out all the.
Did they ever make a figure of the commentator? What was his name? Mean.
There is a Mean Gene figure out there.
Mean
I think
Gene, yes.
it was released here recently, and I think that's because once they become what's called a legend or a superstar, that's when they pretty much it's a way for them to make some money in their old age. They become what's called a legend, and then they get a little bit of residuals from the WWE for using their likenesses and stuff like that.
Well, that's nice.
Let's see. Hello, Susudio. Good health and good internet bad. Still without it doing the phone thing. Yeah. I like Slot was telling me the other day that his internet's is shot over there at Coldwater. So hopefully they'll get fixed back up. Satan's Hammer asks, "Are the superstar bodies the same as Motu?" No.
They are similar.
Very much so. You can pop those heads off, and with a little bit of effort, you can get them to interchange. They interchange better with the DC Universe figures.
Now there's some line of wrestling figures. I don't know if they're still making them, but they had some of the same accessories and things as the Motu Origins. Were those a different line?
Yes, that was the WWE Super. Yeah, the Superstars bodies. Okay. He's talking about the Superstars bodies, not the actual wrestling figures. My bad,
Right.
plain fart. Yes, the Superstar figures are the same bugs. I can pull back here and I can get Honky Tonk Man out here. Of course, he played Elvis recently at Christmas time, so he's got a belly on him, but that's just a balled up piece of paper in there. But yeah, this is the same buck. The only difference is they have boots on them, and they do have they did a retool of the legs on some of them. I think Bray Wyatt's got pants on it, and so he doesn't have a boot cut on there. His foot snaps into the bottom of the leg at the bottom of the pants. So.
Okay.
Otherwise, I mean, the heads are interchangeable. The arms, you can pop them out. The upper torsos are the same buck. The thighs, all that, all the same. The midsection, what I call the waist, are just plain. So they look like
just
wrestling trunks.
Wrestling trunks, right?
Yeah, they're not furry shorts with a big, huge belt on them. They're just like wrestling
right.
trunks.
And they have wrestling boots instead of the
But all of that's interchangeable with the He-Man buck. I mean, and that's part of how I do some of the customizations that I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you made a pretty cool trap jaw using one of those, didn't you?
We got the Stone Cold trap jaw is what I call him. The Stone Cold figure that was kind of knocking off trap jaw. He had trap jaw's arm, and he also had this removable iron jaw. And I was able to take some of those parts and put them on Cronus to make that awful lame ass figure of Cronus look a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's a whole video on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to go back in the back catalog there and take a look at that. All the views I can get, because I'm getting close to my view count. I think I passed my view count. Viewing hours. I need a few more, but I'm getting more view hours now per week than I was before. But then again, I almost got 600 subscribers now, so that's helping.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
these things, a little bit every day. It just kind of
Speaking of
builds.
which, what's the growth like over there in the layer?
Well, I haven't checked since the last review, but it's pretty steady. I mean, it's only been the channel's only been up what 2 weeks, so
Mhm.
it's going to be a while before we see anything. But all the the old faithfuls, the people we know from the chats, friends
Yeah,
we have
well,
from other
I think
channels.
you're somewhere in the 20s, 25, maybe getting
Hmm.
past that. I mean, that happened pretty quick. Now I know all of your friends here online have all subscribed to you, so that's a start. Uh, you're also you move around between YouTube channels, visiting a lot more than I'm able to because of my
Right.
job. That's going to help you greatly.
I am a bit of a social butterfly. I show up in a lot of different chats,
And,
mostly about
also
toys.
you're well known by some of the bigger boys too. So and that's going to help.
Well, yeah, it never hurts to have friends, but ultimately, I'm just doing it because I'm having fun.
And that's
So,
what this is all about, is having fun. Now, Susudio
yeah.
says that she's got Triple H with a denim vest and leather jacket from his return after his injury to his leg muscle. Oh, that was
Hmm.
when he was always in the wheelchair, and we all called him Cripple H instead of
Mm.
Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how many of those folks have gone on to bigger and better things after wrestling? I mean, quite a few of them have gone into
It
movies
happens
and
occasionally.
other
You got
things.
what the right now the ones that are sticking out of my mind are of course The Rock, Dwayne
Mhm.
Johnson, and
John Cena and
John Cena.
Triple H was in a couple movies, wasn't he?
Yeah, Triple H might have been in a movie or two, but it was kind of hokey, kind of like the Hulk Hogan being in a movie. You know, that was kind
Right.
of
And Stone Cold, Steve Austin's been in at least one or two films.
yeah. And a lot of times they'll do these TV shows. If I remember Goldberg did a TV show there at one time. I can't even remember what they were doing on there, but yeah, they occasionally they'll break out. Batista, that's a good
Yep.
example. Batista's done well with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and
Hmm. He was really
however,
good in the remake of the Blade Runner. He was very good in the beginning of that.
yeah. Now Batista has now. I've heard good things about his acting. I
Hmm.
I find that hard to believe, but okay. So after Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, which I don't know how good that's going to be or not, based upon what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is up to these days, trolling us, I think.
Mm.
But Batista has announced that that will be his final Marvel movie. He's going to move on.
Well, about time. I
And
mean,
of course, Screen Crush over there. If you guys ever watch him, he's a good watch every now and then. Screen Crush has said that he believes that Batista will die at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
well, his character
Yeah,
Drax,
yeah,
not
it drags. I mean,
right.
Batista himself. Yeah,
Oh, I'd forgotten he did appear in the new Dune film as well.
and Edge was on the Highlander TV
Hmm.
series. That was a pretty awful TV series, if I remember correctly. I didn't like it at all. You know, the Highlander 3 is not in continuity, and anything that happened from it thereafter is all out of continuity as far as I'm concerned.
I loved the original film, and there was a reason there could only be one, And I tried watching the second one, and that was a train wreck. And I said, nope, I'm just sticking to the original film, and everything else I'm just going to ignore.
Yeah, yeah. It got pretty bad.
There
Yes,
is rumor that they will be doing a remake of Highlander, and Henry Cavill has been rumored to be the new immortal in that, but
I could
no
see him playing
official.
in that. As a matter of fact, he probably needs some work too, because you know they screwed him pretty awful. All right, explain this to me, Largo. Help me out here.
I'll
Let's
try.
all right. Let's look at Henry Cavill for a minute. What has Henry Cavill done to get on the wrong side of the law?
I don't know. I didn't know that he was
Nothing.
having
He's
any
done
issues.
absolutely nothing. He has been
Oh, okay.
he has been almost the embodiment of the character that he plays in those movies.
Yeah.
Superman
As far as
himself.
I was going to say, as far as I know, he's a perfect gentleman
Now,
and
now
nice guy.
let's look at Ezra Miller on the other
Oh,
hand,
let's
who plays
not.
the Flash. What has he done? He has done multiple things close to the P
He's-
word.
Yeah, let's just say
Uh,
he's a peculiar gentleman.
he's broken the law. He's stolen things. He's almost got like
Yeah,
a cult going on. And
he's unwell.
guess what? Guess what? He gets to keep his movie, and they fire Henry Cavill. Now explain that to me.
I can't. There's something going on there. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that they've brought in a new showrunner, so to speak, in Peter Gunn, and they know they need to do a hard reboot. They've got to start over and try to do something because everything they've kind of patched together just hasn't worked. And it makes sense to start with a new cast.
I'll say this now. The John Cena Peacemaker series is hilarious.
Yeah, but again, is it the direction that DC wants to go? Because this is something I've talked with a lot of other classic superhero fans, and we're all kind of in the same
So
agreement.
they're basically your argument is they're making a parody of themselves, basically making comedy movies out of these.
They are, or they're taking the violence to an extreme absurdity, and they're losing losing the character.
That was kind of the argument about Zack Snyder and the direction that he was going with Justice League, which they pushed a lot of that way too soon, and the whole Batman v Superman thing never should have even aired, in my opinion.
It was.
Or if it did, it should have been towards the end of both of their careers when they were getting ready to get out of the game.
Right. It was a story that just didn't fit with trying to launch.
He was such a big fan of Dark Knight Returns, and a lot of the scenes in that are lifted directly out of that wonderful graphic novel that Frank Miller did.
One thing that Zack Snyder is very good at is filming cinematic pieces that look like they were pulled right off of a comic book page. He's very good at that. Unfortunately, he picked some comics that I would not have chosen if you're going to try to build a universe.
Makes a good point here. They don't want to shelve the Flash movie because people are excited to see Keaton. As a matter of fact, the idea of Keaton returning as the '89 Batman is something that I don't know if they can continue to go in that direction, because you remember that awful Batgirl TV show that was going to be shown exclusively on HBO Max got canceled. Yeah. And the footage that I saw of it was terrible, and Keaton was supposed to cameoed in that as well.
Yeah, it's a mess over there at DC these days, unfortunately.
And Sue Studio's got to go. Got to check on her dad. It's great having you today. We're getting close to the end anyway. It's getting close to the hour. So as soon as we get a little closer, those ducks are going to get fed. But we're just kind of winding it down now. We still have 13 folks in the house, though.
To me, especially when it comes to the DC comics, I was more of a DC fan than Marvel as a kid.
Same here.
The DC comics, the heroes were heroes. There was no gray area. There were no anti-heroes. Even Batman, even when Neil Adams was taking the helm, he was a noble character. I mean, he had a dark side, but he never crossed the line. He never killed anybody. He had a code of honor. And that's something that's been forgotten in modern cinema. They keep trying to get away from what the character's core values are, and then you end up with something that's not what we want.
The popular idea is that all these heroes have to be deconstructed, and it's not necessary.
No, we just want a good story, and there are years and years and decades of great stories that they could draw from, and they seem to ignore those and come up with something that is just subpar, in my opinion.
Well, if you want to see what would make a great movie of Superman, Alex Ross's Peace and Justice, the large coffee.
Yes,
coffee
Peace. It was called Peace on Earth.
Peace on Earth. And he did a series of those. He did one with Batman, one with Wonder Woman, one with Captain Marvel and Superman. And then
it is available now as a hardcover, like a graphic novel. They collected all of those together, and it's called World's Greatest Superheroes.
And that is beautiful. And the artwork in that is almost photorealistic. They did Justice League in the same format, and then he did a series of prestige format books that were
Mhm.
released as hardcovers. I have those,
Mhm.
and basically it was the Super Friends. It really was. I mean,
It
that's what
was, yeah, it was what I would call the satellite era, the classic Justice League from that era when they had the satellite in
Bronze
space, and
Age, very much Bronze
very much.
Age, but
Mhm.
yeah,
And Alex also did a great job with what the series he did called the Marvels, where
Mhm.
he shows the Marvel universe from the point of view of a photographer who has been capturing these Marvels throughout the years. And so you kind of see it from the lens of a civilian looking up at these interesting people, running through New York and wherever. So,
modern Hollywood writers are too cynical and self-absorbed to write a character like Superman. Well,
right.
the problem is, and that goes for the comic book writers as well. People have
Mm,
forgotten how to write a Superman story. They don't know how to write a Superman story.
I think, yeah, since all the different crises that they've had, things have just kind of gone down. There
No,
was
there
the
was there was what really got me was, and this was after the post crisis, and we went through the Byrne era,
mm,
and then that kind of progressed on into the early 2000s, when Jim Lee got involved in it, and all the lessons that Superman would learn when they would change writers, he would forget those lessons and have to learn them all over again, which
right.
led to the walk across America, and that's kind of when I checked out completely at that
Yeah,
point.
it got a little strange. And they kept trying to depower him, especially right after the crisis. It's like he had just gotten too powerful and they didn't know how to write this
Well,
character.
that was that wasn't the first time they had done that. They had a storyline back in the Bronze Age. I think right around the 1970s, right around the time that Jack Kirby moved over to DC Comics and started the Fourth War stuff. They had this sand creature or Sandman story where there was a creature that had zapped about half of Superman's powers away from him, and they depowered him for a period of time.
Hmm.
But every time they depower him, he always ends up being able to move planets before it's over with, and it goes right
Sure.
back. You know,
Although I have to say, my favorite depowered Superman story is the one where we see the Supermobile. He's been
I want
exposed.
that
I think it
comic.
was.
People,
I think it was red. I think it was a red kryptonite thing that happened, and he had
yeah.
lost his powers, and he was dealing with the robot Amazo. And of course, in the Fortress of Solitude, he's got a little bit of everything, and he whips up the Supermobile to save the day.
Yeah, I want that comic real bad. And I'll tell you my absolute favorite Superman story. It's a bit of a bummer, but it really is a fitting end to the Bronze Age Superman, is the Alan Moore "Whatever Happened to Superman" story.
The
It
Man of
occurred,
Tomorrow.
yeah,
Mhm.
it started out in uh, Superman, and then the second part was in Action Comics that month, and it's been collected, and I've got several different
It
versions.
it
I
was a
have
nice, yeah,
I
it
have
was a
one.
nice farewell because it was a way for them, through Superman to say farewell to these, the Perry White of that era, and when he was actually friends with Batman and not frenemies. And they kind of touched on all of those great things that were part of that classic Superman.
Oh, let me tell you one of my very favorite Superman stories of all time.
Are there Twinkies involved? Is this a
No,
Hostess fruit pie thing?
absolutely
No.
not. Okay, when I think of a Superman artist, the Superman artist is Kurt Swan.
Kurt
Always
Swan.
will be. Always. He's like
I
the
agree.
Bret Hart of Superman art. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. All right. So there was a Superman annual that came out that had a backup story called "I Flew with Superman,"
Ooh.
and in it, Kurt Swan either has a dream or somehow is transported from Earth Prime to Earth One, and in order to get back, he has to meet the character that he's drawn all these years and get him to help him come back. And of
Wow.
course, there at the very end of that was of course, the trope from that great Christmas story. Zuzu's pedals, if you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about.
From It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. At one point in the story, a bank robber or somebody is shooting a machine gun at Superman, and he plucks all the bullets out of the air. And at one point, he gives them to Kurt Swan, and Kurt Swan puts them in his pocket.
Wow.
And at
It's
the
like
end
a
of the
memento.
story, at the end of the story, when he wakes up, the bullets are still in his pocket.
It wasn't just a dream.
Right.
And on that note, I'm going to go feed some ducks.
Yeah, it's time, folks. We had a great time. It was a wonderful afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm going to go to Dollar General and get some tasty sponge cakes with creamy filling inside of them.
I'll never look at a fruit pie the same way.
Well, I'll never look at the Incredible Hulk the same way. The way he killed the roller disco devils with right out murder. It's been a good day. We had a great time, everybody. Glad y'all all showed up. Chat was good. Remember, together we shall triumph. We'll see you all next time.
Special thanks to these supporters on Patreon. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like and subscribe and share the video.